Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a big howdy from myself, Nichole Cirillo, the Executive Director of IAVE. We'll let people join, give a few moments for people to join, and then we will quickly begin this exciting presentation and event that we have kicking off today. So again, welcome. This is the call to action for the future of volunteering and the launch of the mapping platform. So welcome, everyone. We'll just give a few minutes for people to join and get settled. I already see people posting some messages in the chat. It's always nice to see that. Please feel free to use that function to either say hello or to also, and when the time comes, pose questions for the panel that we have. I'll wait just another minute as I see lots of people are joining. Just to say the session is being recorded and you will receive a copy of the presentation that we're presenting today. So nice to see some familiar faces saying hello in the chat. Always delightful to see IAVE's global community. You've been an extremely big part of this. We could not have done it without you. I think that's fair to say. So it's delightful to see you all chiming in from all across the globe. Okay, because we have such a tight agenda, I am going to begin, and knowing that we'll be continue to be joined by folks. So again, howdy. My name is Nichole Cirillo. I am from the U.S. I'm joining you from the U.S. and I'm the executive director of IAVE. This is such a big day for us. It's such an important event for IAVE, for our networks, and I hope for the cause of volunteering globally. So, this is a day when we are launching our global mapping platform to continue our journey to make the call to action alive and well and vibrant. So let me just go over what we're going to do today. One second. Okay, sorry. We're doing a welcome and introductions. I'll talk just really briefly about the about the call to action, and then we will hear about the International Year of the Volunteer for Sustainable Development. We'll hear from Tata Sustainability Group, showcasing their support and the work they've done on the platform. And then we will have a panel discussion with three individuals who have really embraced this call to action and the platform itself. And then we will open it up for a Q&A from you all. So again, please make sure you put your comments or any questions you have into the platform. And then we'll look at closing remarks and the opportunities to continue to be trained up on this incredibly valuable resource. So let me get started with a very, very brief overview, just to let you know that you will have access to this deck and for your reference. But you will remember, because you were all a big part of this, that this call to action was created by you, by over 14,000 members of our global community who told us really the answer to two questions. What needs to change and who needs to change it if this international year is going to hold a different future for volunteering, a future where it can not only survive but thrive amidst the incredible challenges that we're all facing around the globe. 14,000 of you from 164 countries, and really those five global organizations coming together to answer those two questions. That was shaped up into our call to action, which really focused on three pillars. How do we better recognize volunteering? How do we better support volunteering? And how do we better safeguard volunteering so that all actors know that they have a space to act and that they will be safeguarded doing so? That call to action was launched on December 5th in New York City at the UN as the UNV kicked off its International Year of the Volunteer for Sustainable Development. What we're talking about today is where do we go from there? And how do we continue to make that call to action real? So we're launching this global action platform, which allows you to make your commitments to this call to action visible, allows you to build collective momentum, and allows us all to strengthen accountability, both our own accountability to stay engaged in this call to action, but also the accountability of the collective volunteer sector, whether you're from a corporation, whether you're from a nonprofit civil society organization, government, academia. What role are you playing in this call to action now through 2026 and up to 2030 to showcase how volunteering is solving problems at the local level, the community level, the country level, and the company level. So we're going to take you through this platform today and again, point out how you can continue to stay involved. So thank you for joining us because as I said at the top of the hour, this would not be possible without your support. Okay. We'll talk today about, again, specifically how you can submit your action, how you can explore a global map and join the discussion. All right, but let me introduce our first speaker, and many of you know her already. I would like to say that she has been an incredibly important partner throughout this process, and that is none other than the great Sandra Cook, who is the team lead for IYV 2026 in the UN Volunteer Program. We'd like Sandra to say a few words about IAVE 2026, in particular, the alignment between the call to action and the future of volunteering, and IVY 2026 and the value of this global mapping program. Sandra?
Nichole, thank you so much and welcome to everyone in this webinar. It's good to be here with you today. It's a real pleasure joining you and a huge thanks to IAVE for bringing us together around this important moment. As Nichole said, I'm speaking to you from the United Nations Volunteers. We have a global facilitation role within the International Volunteer Year 2026 on sustainable development, and I'm leading the small team in UNV that is supporting this global effort. For me, the call to action is one of the things that are at the heart of the International Volunteer Year. The year itself was declared in December 23 through United Nations General Assembly resolution, and member states decided that we would use the year 2026 to shine a light on volunteers, how they contribute to volunteerism, how they contribute to sustainable development, and what they do to make this world a better place. And then the call to action grow as a movement out of this declaration. And it was a translation of this General Assembly resolution that is a 2.5-page document produced in New York. And then the call to action came and translated it into an action-oriented language, into something that stakeholders within the volunteering world, from volunteers to volunteer-involving organizations, but also supporting institutions around governments, private sector, academia, could use to do something concrete to strengthen the volunteering environment. And now with the launch of the platform, those activities will even become visible. And so for me, this platform that you are launching today makes something visible that often remains unseen. The breadth and diversity of volunteer action happening around the world. For the first time, we will have a shared space where we can see how actions are advancing the recognition of volunteers, the support for volunteers, and the safeguarding for volunteers globally. And that kind of visibility will help us to learn from each other, to connect our efforts, and to build momentum as a global community. What we are currently seeing in implementing the International Volunteer Year around the globe is that many stakeholders come together in an effort to strengthen volunteering. And we have a strong network of 44 officially designated focal points by member state governments. We have over 35 UN entities that joined the network, and with IAVE, with Forum, and with IFRC, we have global volunteering organizations joining the effort, but also around the globe in countries, in regions. We have civil society organizations, private sector, and academia really supporting. And so from an IAVE 2026 perspective, from this perspective of a global movement, this platform that is being launched today is exactly the kind of initiative we need, because the year is not only about celebration. It's about strengthening the ecosystem for volunteerism in a meaningful and in a lasting way. And so this platform will be an important part of the legacy of IAVE 2026, something that will continue beyond, that will help track progress, share learning, and sustain collaboration beyond the 5th of December 2026, when we will close the year. I've mentioned the call to action and how it translates the UN General Assembly resolution into concrete and practical actions. And in that sense, the platform is now really bringing global commitment closer to people and action on the ground. What stands out most is the spirit behind the whole initiative, and it reflects the reality of volunteerism itself. Collaborative, inclusive, and driven by people coming together around shared values. So it's exactly those people that IAVE has brought together today also for this webinar. And I would encourage all of us to actively engage with the platform by sharing your activities, by learning from each other, by helping to build a truly global picture of volunteerism in action. At UNV, we look forward to continue working closely with IAVE and with all the partners, and to make full use of this platform as we move through IAVE 2026 and then beyond. So congratulations to IAVE on launching this platform today, and thank you for joining, all of you.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you so much. Sandra does have to leave us to go to another meeting, but incredibly valuable remarks. And thank you, Sandra, for all of your support and partnership, not only for the call to action, but also for this platform launch. So Sandra mentioned a key word here, and that's collaboration. None of us can do this alone, and we certainly couldn't have done it alone at IAVE. I want to bring on now Tata Sustainability Group, and particular Gauri Rajadhyaksha, and her colleague Ayan Basu, when we reached out quite early to them to ask if they might help us put together a register, how we register actions around the globe. They raised their hands, they jumped in, and they really helped us not only formulate our ideas for this platform, but actually build the structure through their skills-based volunteering program. So I want to recognize them, but also bring them both forward to talk about really their work and their involvement in the call to action for the future of volunteering, which led to their involvement and their support to develop this global mapping program. Gauri and then Assam, please come forward.
Thank you so
Hi.
much, Nichole. A very good morning to everyone on the call today. At the Tata Group, volunteering in general and skill-based volunteering in particular has been a very, very integral part of how we contribute to sustainable and systemic impact. We have a long 150-year-old legacy, but our program called Pro Engage is something that we consider a very unique opportunity that enables our 1 million employees across Tata companies and geographies to apply their professional expertise to high impact social social and development initiatives. We've worked with over 1,000 partners till now, and we remain very, very committed to drive strategic impact through skill-based volunteering. We have a very, very proud and a very a fulfilling relationship with IAVE as a member of the board and also as a member of the Global Corporate Volunteering Council. And our engagement with IAVE's IAVE call to action for future of the volunteering platform sort of deeply resonated with us and served as a catalyst to only strengthen our partnership with IAVE. It was therefore no surprise that when Nichole, on behalf of IAVE, reached out to us to request for support to develop the global action mapping platform, we saw it as a great opportunity to collaborate, but also an opportunity to contribute to a very, very important milestone in global public good for the volunteering ecosystem. What we did over a 4-month period effectively was have our group of technical experts from the Tata consultancy services come together in a cross-specialization team, helping IAVE build this platform. But I want to just say that, as much as we were thrilled and extremely proud to have been a part of this journey leading to the launch, this is a reflection of our broader commitment to supporting IAVE and also to supporting IAVE 2026. We are absolutely thrilled to be here to witness the launch of the platform, and we look forward to now using this global action mapping platform ourselves and being a part of the conversations that are going to happen there. Thank you so much for having us here. I would like to request my dear colleague Ayan Basu, who was the project lead on this, coming in as a technical expert and a project management expert and helping us build what IAVE had, a vision for. So Ayan, we have a few minutes. If you'd like to come in and share your experience as a volunteer, that would be great. And then we hand it back to Nichole. Over to you, Ayan.
Thank you, Gauri. Thank you, Nichole. Good evening and good morning, everyone. And thank you for inviting us. I'm Ayan Basu, and I'm speaking on behalf of our skill-based volunteering team that partnered with IAVE to build the call to action global mapping platform. At the outset, I would like to thank IAVE for the trust placed in us and to Gauri and the Tata ecosystem for enabling this collaboration. We understand IAVE's call to action is not just a statement of intent, it's a movement. Our objective was just to ensure that this movement is supported by a platform that makes participation simple, credible, and visible at a global scale. Together with IAVE, we delivered a global engagement and action mapping platform. This platform is designed just for launch, but for sustained use with strong usability, transparency, and handover readiness to ensure IAVE can independently evolve it over time. During this journey, we wanted to apply professional technology skills, architecture, engineering, and disciplined delivery in service of a global social mission. What stood out for us was the true spirit of skill-based volunteering. This was not about delivering features in isolation. It was about co-creating with purpose. I would like to acknowledge my colleagues who contributed across architecture, engineering, testing, and governance. This was very much a team effort enabled by a strong culture of responsibility and ownership. Finally, I'll close by saying platforms like Call to Action Global Mapping do more than capture data. They connect people, validate effort, and inspire wider participation. We are proud to have contributed our skill to this initiative, and we hope this platform becomes a catalyst for many more volunteering stories across the world. Thank you, and over to you, Nichole.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ayan. Thank you, Gauri. And thank you to Tata for, again, jumping in and being such a significant thought partner to this. We so appreciate that. And we could not have done that without your support. Thank you so much. Let me also just say a quick hello to David Stiers from the Volunteer Groups Alliance. Sandra mentioned those partners that we were engaged in the call to action, and VGA was a big part of that. Hello to David. Seeing a lot of our global network for volunteer leaders, Mauricio, Sonia, Coco, Lamille. Thank you so much for all of your support. Again, we could not have done it without your on the ground commitment to this. So thank you, and a big virtual hello and hug from IAVE. Also, just want to recognize Nam Hee Kim from Korea, South Korea, who South Korea has been enormously helpful in this. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to everyone on this call. And again, remember to put your questions, your thoughts within that chat because we'll be going to a panel later where we will rely on those. So let me turn it over now to our communications director, Jessica Hahn, who has been so deeply engaged in this, to talk about some of the key elements of this platform and to also talk about some next steps on training. Jessica, over to you.
Thanks, Nicole, and thank you, Gauri and Ayan. It was such a pleasure to work with the Tata team, and it wouldn't have been possible to bring this platform to life without their dedication and their expertise. So I'm just going to spend the next 10 minutes going through the platform and showing you some of the key features of the site. So let me share my screen. Okay. So I hope everyone can see that. So this is action.iave.org. So this is where the platform lives. And it features everything you need to know about the call to action, including the full statement, links to download the statement in multiple languages. But in the interest of time, I'm not going to go through all the pages today, and we'll focus on just the key features of the site. And the first thing I want to show you is the global action map, um, which is really the heart of the platform. So let's jump right in. So what you're looking at right now is the live map of commitments. So these are real organizations, real initiatives plotted in real time by some of the members of the beta test group that we've invited to soft launch this platform. So thanks to them, we already have a couple of points on the map. So the orange pins are the country level actions, the blues, the regional, and there's a global marker as well for global initiatives. So if you can click into any of these, so I'll just go ahead and click on global, and it will generate all the global initiatives that have been submitted so far onto the platform. And you can click through to view the details of each of the initiatives to learn more about the program. So let's look at this one from Novaris. You can learn more about the program through the description. You can find out who the primary contact is, which action area it falls under. You can also look at the progress, any resource links that have been submitted, and photos, which you can click through and open. Most importantly, you can see which commitment this initiative aligns with. And this part is especially important because when you submit your work to this platform, you're just not adding a pin to a map. You're actually connecting the work directly to the call to action statement. So anyone who visits the site can see not just what people are doing, but how it maps to the movement's overall goals. So let's go back to the main map view. So there are filters in place. So you can filter the initiatives by country, by action area, and stakeholder groups. So if you're a company, if you're part of a company and you want to see what other companies are doing, you can easily do so through the filter, and same goes for NGOs, philanthropic foundations, and government agencies. This filter is in place to help you navigate through all of that very quickly. And one more thing before I move on, I wanted to note the translation feature of the site. Because we are working with a global audience and a global user base, we wanted to make sure that it was accessible to everybody. So you can use this translation box at the bottom left corner to pick the language of your choice, or what you're most comfortable with. So I'm going to jump into now on how to submit your initiative and get your initiative on this map. Uh, so I'm already logged in, but in order to actually do this, you will have to register, and there are registration buttons all throughout the page. So you'll be able to get onto the platform fairly quickly. It's like a 2-3 minute registration process. So this is the initiative submission form. It's pretty straightforward. You give your initiative a name, so you probably already have a name for your program. You write a short description, and you're going to try to keep it under 300 characters, just like a short elevator pitch on what your program is. And you will also align it with the action area. So choose one that you think best aligns with your program. So recognition, support, safeguarding. And I will show you what happens when you pick one. You'll see all the commitments under recognition, and you can select more than one commitment that you think aligns with your program. There's also an area for you to select the geographic scope. So it can be, just countrywide, it can be region-wide, it can be global. And you'll also be able to let us know if it's a planned program, if it's currently in progress, or it's already been completed. And you have the option to share with us any early outcomes, milestones, and how many volunteers were involved in the program, if any. There's options for you to upload photos and provide any resource links. And one thing I want to emphasize about the initiatives that you submit, it's not meant to be a one-time submission. You can always come back to the initiatives that you've submitted and update them as your work evolves. So when something wraps up, the program is complete, you can mark it as complete and capture all the outcomes, which I think is really valuable for the community to see what's actually being achieved. So the last piece I wanted to go through is the community hub. And I think this is a really interesting part of the site. It's where we're inviting users to actually have a dialogue with one another, discuss with one another, um, share what's working, ask questions, and pick up any ideas from others on the other side of the world. So we've seeded some discussion threads already to get things rolling, but we're really excited to see what the community comes up with and how it takes shape from there. So it's divided into 3 discussion categories: recognition, support, safeguarding, based on the call to action. Um, so yeah, like I mentioned, I'm really excited to see how this will take shape. And um, yeah, I've encouraged everyone to really participate in this feature as well, not just the map, because this is where, real collaboration can happen. So I think I'm running out of time. So that's the platform. So please go to action.iave.org and just get started, register, and you'll be ready to go. And if you want a more hands-on walkthrough, we'll have a couple of follow-up sessions next week that we've already scheduled. And details will be at the end of this webinar, and I'll also include them in the chat. But thank you for being here today, and I'd love to see how this platform will continue to grow with your engagement. Back to you, Nichole.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you. And if you wouldn't mind putting the screen back up. Yes, so again, it's to register your actions, right? To celebrate, to see the difference that volunteering is making in your community, your company, your country. But it's also to speak with that global voice about the importance of volunteering. Remember, that's why we did this, because we want to make the what is often invisible visible, as Sandra said, and really get the credit that volunteering deserves for all of the work it does at the local level, at the country level, at the company level, at the global level. So please, we really want to see a million data points in here. I think I've just issued us all a challenge, a million data points. So please make sure that you do this, that you use this, that you tell others about this, not just our community, but we want more and more and more people to use this because we want to make that footprint, that global footprint of the impact volunteering is making in the world. And it starts with us, but let's spread it globally across those in our networks and beyond to make sure we're sharing this vital resource. Excellent. So let me now come to the panel discussion. What I'm going to do is ask each of these participants to to answer a question that we will propose to them. So let me begin with Estelle Roth. In addition to being an IAVE board member, Estelle is the global head of giving for matching and volunteering at Novartis. And she has been Novartis is incredibly dedicated to employee volunteering. And she has been a big part of that. So we would like her, as somebody who is dedicated as she is and as Novartis is to this issue, to really talk to the support, the call to action, and the future of volunteering has, and the opportunity to trial this new platform. Specifically, Estelle, what do you think of it, and how useful will it be within your own context at Novartis? And would you encourage other corporations to be involved with volunteering to join and use this platform? We know you will encourage other corporates to be involved, but the question is how, and what would you describe as the benefits for this? Estelle, over to you.
Thank you so much, Nichole. Hello, everyone. And I want to say congratulations to IAVE, Tata, and everyone who has been involved in bringing this to life. So when I first heard about it, like this global action mapping platform, I thought, well, this is a great idea, but will it be generally useful? So I tried it as I was part of the pilot, and my answer is a loud yes. And it has real potential if we treat it as a community asset. So what strikes me most is the unique value. This is a shared global view of actions across those three pillars you just saw from Jessica, which is recognition, support, and safeguarding. And actually, it's all in one place. So the platform was built because the call to action sets this direction. But as we all know, commitment is not enough on its own. And the platform and the map provide that direction of being visible, traceable, and shared. And that's why I see this as a first of its kind, because for our volunteering communities, it's not just another report, it's not just another statement, but it's a living public record of action, which is important for us as a corporate or as an organization, as much as it is for anyone who wants to learn faster and connect better. So from a company perspective, this is useful in three practical ways, and I think those totally translate to any corporate volunteering program, not just to my company. So it's sense making because it helps us see what's really happening globally by country, by action area, by sector, so we can spot patterns, but also gaps and opportunities for collaboration. Second, learning and replication. So I really like that platform because it's designed to help organizations to find each other and to learn from one another's actions. So it's really not about who did it best, but what can we adapt and scale. And then we heard it already, it's about momentum and accountability. So by making those actions visible and trackable, that strengthens accountability and moving from just the intent to action really towards progress that we can then track over time as a community, but also individually or at the corporate level. And as a personal detail, which my favorite is really when you can double click on the countries. So only by the trial, I already learned so much about what's going on in some of those countries. And obviously this will help us overall as a global organization to double click and to help our local ambassadors and colleagues to connect to each other. So it's both grounding and inspiring, and it reminds us that volunteering leadership is happening everywhere, often quietly, as Nichole said, and this gives us really the place to be seen and to be shared. And there's one last point I want to make, and this is, I think, a key principle, which is about quality content and not corporate showcasing. So for me, the condition for success, and I endorse that personally or at my level as well, and I feel strongly about it, is the platform lives by the quality of the content. So not a corporate showcase, but or a marketing place, but instead we have this as a learning platform. So we've seen it also through the community hub, opening that dialogue, including best practices, honest insights, what works, what doesn't work, and how can we do that differently, so it becomes truly incredibly valuable. Just to close it, will we encourage, or would I encourage other corporates to do so? Absolutely, and very quickly. And what I really like about it's happening now, it's happening in the International Year of Volunteering, but to me, this is really only the starting point to become the single source of truth for our global volunteering community. So again, congratulations, and so excited to see this grow, expand, and truly live at a global scale.
Thank you so much, Stella. And again, thank you for all you do and for your deep engagement in volunteering globally. So I just want to point out that there are some questions in the chat on technical issues. I'm going to ask Jessica just to make note of those and get back to you on an individual basis. Again, there'll be 3 training sessions that we'll reference. So make sure you sign up for one of those, but we'll also answer those technical questions on an individual basis after the call. So I want to, we've heard from Gauri, but just to make note of, or to hear from her from a slightly different perspective, and that's not as a designer and skills-based volunteer of this platform, but actually of a user of this platform. Gauri, you've already described your involvement, again, in the development, and thank you again. But this question is really about how this platform might provide Tata, which is a large global company committed to supporting volunteering, how it might respond to your needs. How will you support your volunteer leadership through the use of this platform and recognize it as an important and practical tool to share the impact that you are having in responding to the call to action for the future of volunteering? Gauri?
Thank you, Nichole, for having me back. It's a very interesting question that you've posed. For us at the Tata Group, given how large and diversified we are, and given that we have a global presence, the Global Action Mapping platform is actually offering us immense value in both information, strategy, and also our ability to be storytellers. Okay, so for us, we see it as a common and a credible framework. As a corporate, someone who looks after the corporate volunteering program, there has always been a need for something like this, to help companies like us or our volunteering champions or our volunteering leaders globally to be able to map, visualize, and sort of articulate the depth of volunteering contributions that they're doing across geographies. And we're delighted that we now do have a platform to use and to share our insights. This is especially valuable given the scale and the decentralized nature in which volunteering happens for us at the Tata Group. So I'm talking over 100 companies, over 2.8 million volunteers across the globe coming in for the corporate volunteering programs, also being extremely motivated, engaged volunteers on an individual basis, in which case, what better than the call to action platform to sort of build a narrative which is coherent, which is global, and which beyond the input is also sort of throwing some light on what the outcomes are. And I think the moment that comes in, it will offer a lot of insights to help practitioners like me, practitioners like my colleagues across the group, the not-for-profit partners we work with, an amazing opportunity to learn, benchmark, and then definitely collaborate internally as well as externally, with IAVE partners and outside. And so if you ask me, Nichole, at the group, we're very, very aligned to IAVE 26. It's been a wonderful 5 months of very, very focused volunteering efforts aligned to the IAVE 26 agenda. But we see this call to action platform now as a very practical tool, that we hope to use from a point of view of being a part of the global dialogue, being a part of a reporting exercise at this scale. Okay, and we look forward to sort of sharing our initiatives, learning from our global peers, and looking at what could be some of the great global practices that many of the IAVE community members will be sharing on this group. So looking forward, Nichole, and I hope I've been able to respond to the question you posed. I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, one second. Thank you so much, Gauri. And yes, you did answer the question incredibly well. So I mentioned that this resource is for anyone within the volunteer sector. Obviously, it is made up, we are such a diverse sector. We certainly have the private sector, and we've just heard from two of those voices. We have government, academia, but we also have on the ground community, nonprofit organizations, civil society members. IAVE is particularly keen about its global network for volunteer leaders and the way they are able to engage with this platform. So I'd like to introduce one of those leaders, Gabriel De Faro, who is the Director of Programs and Communities at Atados, which is one of our GNVL members in Brazil. So Gabriel, for you particularly, this is an interesting question. Again, given your role as someone who looks after and shapes volunteering from an NGO community perspective. So really, I'd like you to share your insights on how you consider the Global Action Mapping Program, how it can add value and recognition to volunteering, and the call to action for the future of volunteering. If you could indicate how you consider the global reach and impact of the platform can be maximized, and also how Atados will use the platform and might encourage your network within Brazil and the wider GNVL network to engage in this platform. Gabriel?
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Nichole, thanks for the invitation. Thanks for the question. I've been working with social impacts and volunteering for the last 10 years. And for the last 5, I've been studying technology and have been in charge of the Atados platform. Today, we are the largest volunteering platform in Latin America with over 350,000 volunteers inscribed and 300 and 3,500 NGOs all around Brazil. In my opinion, technology has the same 2 roles as volunteering: to connect people and to scale impact. When I say connect, we can think of Instagram or Amazon or even Atados and this platform that we have right now. When we say scale, a small group or social project can develop a solution that more and more people can join or use. Volunteers can make this project bigger, they can scale this impact. And from what I've seen, from what I've studied, a platform is only as good as it tackles users' pain points and desires. And from my perspective, this platform aims at 3 different pain points that we as a global community have worldwide: giving visibility for all the incredible initiatives each one of us is responsible for, or wherever we are from. And we actually, over here in Brazil, we often see people, companies, and institutions that use Atados to search for NGOs and social projects in our country. So I can only imagine the impact that has for all the community being the center of a searching point of view for these different social projects around the world and voluntary initiatives. And the second pain point that I'd like to say is connecting these initiatives between themselves so that they can grow stronger together. And also, the third one is the space of discussion for all these projects and challenges can be faced by everyone together. And we now have a tool in our hands that can help with each of those challenges. Every social project in Brazil, in Latin America, or elsewhere in the world has a place now where they can find each other and talk to each other. This has great potential being well used. And there's also great potential having all this data united in the same place, because this way we can build intelligence out of it and better strategies also for volunteering worldwide. And if we have a lot of social projects and volunteering initiatives from Brazil over there, we can join our forces to gather more intelligence and build better strategies. And I need to remember that technology has a risk. If not well cared for, it can rapidly fall behind in this fast evolving world we live in. And we need to always stay in touch with our community of users, listen to what they need, and adapt to stay relevant. So that's something that I had to say about this initiative and the platform. So Nichole, back to you.
Thank you so much, Gabrielle. So I'd like Jessica to come on very quickly just to respond to 2 important questions. And one is exactly related to that. How do we maintain the quality of this data? Jessica, that has been a question posed by Paul Sully. Excellent question. And then Jessica, the question that Paul Sully has also posed about communities of practice. If you want to come on just briefly, Jessica, and talk about the responses that you've put into the chat, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Yes, of course. So Paul had asked about the quality of the content and whether we are monitoring it for authenticity and that it's appropriate to be on the site. And my answer is that yes, our team is consistently moderating the site and what's being posted, and we do have automatic anti-spam filters in place so that nothing inappropriate get and ad like gets posted on the platform. So it's constantly being monitored by us on our side. And then in regards to the question about the communities of practice, Paul has suggested, growing the platform to be more. So to create communities of practice within the platform under a specific theme, such as environment, climate action. And yes, that's a great idea. It's definitely something that we can work on developing as the platform and this digital community grows. This is, of course, we're in our first stage or first version of this platform, and the possibilities are endless on what we can build on it. So if the demand is there and if the community continues to thrive on this platform, then certainly we can look into developing that. So we welcome all suggestions. You can shoot me an email anytime you think the platform can be improved.
Thank you, Jessica. And just a note on that is that all of this started with simple ideas. IAVE turning to some of its associations and other organizations saying, how can we make this International Year matter? And then going through that process to create the call to action. And then IAVE thinking, well, how are we going to get the call to action out there and coming up with this platform? But this is very much co-creation, right? So all of these suggestions and more are welcome, not only welcome, but actually required as people who are a part of this success of not only the call to action, but of this platform. For example, the question of will this platform stay around? Well, we hope so, but we need you to be able to do this. And we need you to create this or to continue to vitalize this community that is committed to the call to action and committed to volunteering. So let's continue with this journey together, right? We started it together. Let's continue it together. Its success depends on you as much as it depends on any of the panelists that you see here. Okay, let me ask all of our panelists. I'd like all of our panelists to come back. And I'm going to ask you quickly, each of you will go with the lineup, the order of the lineup that we had, Estelle, Gauri, and Gabrielle. Let me ask you to imagine for 1 second that it is 2030. And this platform that we've achieved the challenge that I set out, and we have over 1 million data points, maybe hopefully many more. So what is your hope that this platform has created, both for volunteering, but then for the larger ecosystem of how we work together? So again, imagine 2030, this platform has been actively vitalized and championed. We have well over 1 million data points. Estelle, what is your hope for what it will have achieved?
Long-term change in all the areas that today we face challenges and face the desire to be recognized as true social impact change makers. And then also this shows the journey we have been on for the last years between now 2026 and 23. So change that is visible and change that happens for everyone, everywhere.
Thank you, Estelle. Gauri, what do you hope to have achieved through this platform by 2030?
That's a wonderfully powerful question, Nichole, that you've addressed to us. So yeah, if we're in 2030 and over 1 million data points on the platform, I think for one, for anyone who would be asking the question, does volunteering make a difference? I think that's going to stop for sure. And I think what it would allow us to do is to get a better understanding of how we can do it better together, right? So for similar to any other how do I say portfolio or vertical that we have at the Tata Group, we look at a corporate volunteering program in very very parallel lenses of strategy, data informed decisions, storytelling, communication. And we hope that through this platform and through a better understanding of global priorities, global actions, we are able to do more globally as well through our volunteering leads, through our volunteers, and that would be my hope in 2030.
Thank you, Gauri. Gabrielle?
Well, I think that we live right now through troubled times. Things are moving very fast. There are a lot of problems going on all around the world, and AI is taking over, and we're kind of losing faith in human activity because we put so much into AI. And I think volunteering is a space where we can show the world, like, what can we do for each other, because volunteering is all about social engagement. It's about caring for one's community, and AI does not have that kind of sentiment. And if we have a platform that can show the world the power of putting people together to care about each other and to do what needs to be done to make the world a place that can get better, I think that's really important. It's not only about AI; it's about how can we get together. I think that's a very striking message that we can send the world.
Thank you, Gabrielle. And thank you to all of our panelists. Jessica, if we could put up the next slide as we begin to close this down. So I will say that there was no big budget for this. There was no for any of it, for the call to action or for this mapping program. There was just there were just two things, actually three things. There was an incredible passion to show the world what volunteering, the difference volunteering makes. Gabrielle just said it. It's been said earlier, to make the invisible visible. That passion from all the way up, from our corporate partners, from our GNVL partners, that real keenness to tell the story of volunteering that we know in our hearts in our work that the rest of the world doesn't always know. The second thing there was the power of collective action. Look at what we have done so far. Again, with no budget, nothing but this passion and this knowledge, the power that we have created in creating the call to action and now this platform. And the third is the collaboration, the act of coming together, of having that shared value and commitment to volunteering. So those three things have allowed us to achieve what we've achieved thus far. So we now put this out into the world. We ask that you make it yours. We ask that you populate it, that you tell us about your ideas, you tell us about the impact of those ideas, and you help us reach that goal of over 1 million data points. But that you also join with us in continuing to innovate this platform, because what's next? What else do we need to be doing? Do we need to be creating communities of practice within it? Do we need to be adding other value points to make this call to action real and to make the invisible visible, to make volunteering count, be recognized, supported, and invested in? So very powerfully, I say it's over to you to populate this, but to continue the work that you have been doing for the last 18 months of this. We've listed these training sessions. Please join them. But most importantly, the platform is live, and let's get started. Let's get underway. Let's take that first step on the journey to 1 million data points. So once again, practically speaking, you will receive this deck. Those training sessions are live for you to go and register. And I want to thank you. I want to thank certainly our panelists, Estelle and Gauri, Ayan and Gabrielle, for being a part of this. I want to thank our tremendous staff at IAVE, Wendy Osborne, who has led this effort, Jessica Hahn, who has led this effort, and our entire team for Sam, Irida, Joyce, for making this real. Without you and any of you, we couldn't have done this. But most importantly, all of you in our networks who have taken the idea that we had and made it real. So over to you. We thank you very much, and we send our thanks for the work that you've done and our hope for the work that you will continue to do, again, to make the invisible visible and to show the world the incredible power of volunteering. Thank you very much from IAVE, and thank you to all of you for all that you do.